Hey everybody, movie reviewer next door here, excuse me, and I'm back again with another movie review, and this time I saw Six Underground. This is an action comedy, let me readjust the lights, action comedy film directed by Michael Bay from 2019, and it stars Ryan Reynolds, Melanie Laurent, Manuel I'm having a bad day, Manuel Garcia Rulfo, Ben Hardy, Adria Arjona, Dave Franco, Corey Hawkins, Leo Raz, and Payman Mahdi. In this film, after faking his death, a tech billionaire recruits a team of international operatives for a bold and bloody mission to take down a brutal dictator. So, what did I think of Six Underground? Well, I kind of just watched this on a whim. I was going to watch something else, decided against it, and decided to pick this random Michael Bay movie because I've never seen a Michael Bay movie before. I'm aware of Bad Boys, Transformers, Armageddon, Ambulance, Rock, all of these films of his, but I've never really seen any of them. And I'm glad I did watch this one because I had a lot of fun with it. It's basically I guess you can call it an action epic. Kind of, it kind of feels like if you took a Mission Impossible movie and made it R-rated and just focused most of your money on insane action. And I'm fine with that. Uh you I think I thought this was a lot of fucking fun. And for once in my life, I don't hate Ryan Reynolds in a movie. I mean, I like the voices. I remember liking the voices, but like for the first time in my life, I don't hate him in a movie, it seems. But let me get to the cast. Ryan Ryan Reynolds plays one. He's a billionaire. He leads this team. I don't mind Ryan Reynolds in this film. I think he does a pretty good job. He's not as much of a smarmy jackass as he is in like the Deadpool movies and pretty much everything else. He tones it down a bit, which I think is a good idea because I think a lot of times he gets ahead of himself. And I enjoyed some of the stuff he did in the action. Melanie Laurent plays two. Um, she's like, I guess, former CIA. I like Melanie Laurent. I've liked her ever since Inglourious Bastards. I think she's one of the best parts of that movie, even though I love the movie. Um, she, I think she works as like a badass agent type character. Um, Manuel Garcia Rolfo plays three. He's a hitman. I did enjoy him. There were a couple comedic bits that I didn't quite love. The laughing gas one was kind of dumb, but I still did enjoy him for the most part. I'm not sure I've seen this actor before. Apparently, he was in the Murder on the Orient Express remake and Sicario Day of the Soldado, which I don't remember him at all. But I liked him here. Ben Hardy plays four. He's a thief. Um, he's mostly doing like crazy parkour shit, which is cool because I enjoy parkour. Um, Also his acting wasn't that bad. Also never seen him before. Apparently he was in Bohemian Rhapsody. Um, yeah, I liked him. Adria Arjona plays five. She's a doctor. Um, I will say they could have done a little bit more of the doctor stuff with her, but for the most part, I enjoyed her. Dave Franco plays six. He's a driver. Um, uh, I, again, I don't know much about him for certain reasons. But he's still fine. I enjoy Dave Franco. Corey Hawkins plays seven. He's a new recruit on the team, former Black Ops sniper, I guess, or an army sniper. Um, I've never minded Corey Hawkins as an actor. I think he does quite well here. Um, Leo Raz plays Rovak Alamov. He's like this dictator that's really bad, and it's part of my issues with the film, but he still does a decent enough job being evil. And Murat Alamov, played by Payman Mahdi, um, he's fine too. He's the brother who's good. And I do want to get my issues with the film out of the way because there's a lot of good for me to talk about. Well, first off, I've seen a ton of comments online saying this is like one of the worst Netflix movies ever. There's nothing redeeming about it. It's a horrible piece of shit. I feel like Michael Bay has gotten these comments all throughout his life. Uh, no. If you, okay, I will say, if you're going into this expecting something serious, you've got another thing coming. Because this movie's batshit insane. And in a good way. Like, the action scenes do not fucking care if certain things are unrealistic. There's literally a scene near the end where Ryan Reynolds is using magnets to fucking, like, stick people to, like, the side of a boat in order to, I mean, because I think they're low on ammo or something. Um, yeah, if you like insanely over the top action that isn't realistic, then you're fine. If you want down to earth, if you want like Ipcris file, like super serious, like espionage type movie, you're not gonna get that. That's not what this is advertised as. This does exactly what it's advertised to do. People need to stop being mad at movies for being exactly what they're advertised as. But anyways, one big thing I can say about this movie is that the villain is kind of dumb. There's not really much to him. Sorry, my eyes are. There's not really that much to this villain at all. He's very like, ooh, big dictator is bad. He doesn't have a lot of screen time as well, which I mean, I guess kind of has to do with that. Neither does his brother, who's like the good one. But yeah, my biggest issue with this film and that keeps it from being like a fantastic action movie is that the villain is very disposable. It kind of reminded me of the villain in Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, which people constantly praise that film, and I do still enjoy that film. I still think it's a good action thriller spy film, but my biggest issue with it was the villain, or one of my biggest issues, because I wasn't huge on the finale for the most part. I was cool with the way that the villain was like taken care of, but leading up to that, I was like, this is kind of in the dark a lot, and I'm not really able to see a lot. Mm. Fallout fixed that, but Fallout was also a lot longer. But still, yeah, it was just like, this is a bit. The villain in that continues on to the next film, but still, it's like, eh, whatever. He's kind of disposable. Same thing with Ghost Protocol's villain. Um, but yeah, here Rovak Alamov, he's just kind of there. You need a villain, so you get him. Um, the other thing I'd say is that this film, um, the editing at times can get to be a bit much. There are some weird shots and bits of editing that I don't think really fit with the rest of the film. There's this one weird shot where the camera is like shakily looking down like a spiral staircase, and then it cuts to Melanie Laurent looking up, and I'm like, what? Why is that there? There's a few shots like that that kind of like threw me off a little bit. They don't really interrupt the movie or anything. It's like it's more just like did we need that shot? And it kind of felt like they did it as a spur of the moment thing, which is weird. But um yeah. Another thing I know this film is going for a very over the top feel. There are some bits of CGI that I'm not huge on. Some bits where people are falling off buildings or falling from a very big height, which of course you can't do that with stuntmen, but maybe shoot it a little bit different so that it doesn't look 100% like a video game at times. But overall, I had so much fucking fun with this film. Like, I was expecting this to feel long, and it didn't. Like, the time just flew by. And that's one thing I can't understand about these people who hate films like this, but love Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, which is like 2 hours and 43 minutes, and they're like, oh yeah, time just flew by. Even though there's multiple dialogue scenes in that film that feel like they go on for fucking ever, and it's insane. It's insane how often that happens. You get movies like John Wick Chapter 4, and I know I've harped on this before. John Wick Chapter 4, No Time to Die, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. All three action films that people were saying, "Oh, it's spectacular. It's the best in the series." All this bullshit, and and I watched them, and two of them I'm like, and I know my opinion's not everybody's, but personally I was like, yeah, two of them are very mediocre. I thought Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 and John Wick Chapter 4 were very mediocre, and No Time to Die was straight up just a fucking stain on the series, and I thought it was the worst of the series. Partially due to the runtime, partially due to many decisions they make within the plot, the villain, so many bad things. Fucking, what's her name? Oh God, Lashana Lynch was such a stupid fucking character. Uh, you wasted Anna de Armas, which is like I enjoy Anna de Armas usually, but in that film it just felt like they wanted a character who like kicked ass for no reason or like acted like a ditz at first, and then it's like, ooh, look, she's a badass, which I thought we were over that trope of like, ooh, they look weak and then they beat somebody up. I thought we were over that trope, but apparently Phoebe Waller-Bridge loves that trope to death. Um, but yeah. Enough about those movies, those pieces of shit. Onto a movie that's actually fun. This is apparently one of the most expensive R-rated films of all time at $150 million. And when I first was watching this, I completely forgot that it was rated R. I was assuming because of the high budget it was a PG-13, but no. It is a very, very violent film at many times, and I enjoy that. I'm fine with a film being violent. I think that PG-13 action films can still be super fucking fun, and I've absolutely loved many PG-13 action movies. Look for, again, the Mission Impossible series. I like a lot of the films in that series. Um, Salt with Angelina Jolie, Lara Croft Tomb Raider with Angelina Jolie, the sequel, Cradle of Life. There are plenty more to think of, but just to make my point. But yeah, this film is R-rated. It definitely has a lot of over-the-top violence. I'm super fine with that. And I was expecting the violence to look bad at times because it's CGI a lot of the time. But for the most part, this film has pretty good looking blood. I feel like there's a lot of practical effects at work here, which I'd expect. It is Michael Bay. I love Michael Bay. Now. Now that I've seen one of his films, I love him. Uh, I just hope I don't eat my words. Um, it's kind of hard to talk about this. Oh yeah, there were a bunch of people that said that this plot was incomprehensible. If it's incomprehensible, why did I understand every single bit of it? Like, it's not overly wordy. Like, people will complain if a movie has too much plot, and they'll complain if it has too little, but this film has enough plot for what it needs to do. It's kind of a heist movie at times. It's kind of a just straight up action movie at times. It's literally the plot is there's a dictator. He's bad to his people, blowing them up and shit. Uh, these guys pretend to be dead, or they fake their deaths in order to be ghosts and rescue this guy's brother, who's an actual good guy, and take out this dictator. That's literally the plot right there. It's not overly complicated, I'll give you that, but worst movie on Netflix or worst Netflix original? Fuck off. Netflix has made plenty of good movies, but I guess people just see action movie and they immediately go, "Oh, this movie's shit because it's an action movie," which that's stupid. But no, it's a really fun, again, really insane action film that does what it's supposed to. It's got tons of explosions that look really good. A lot of practical shit. And people say that all of this is CGI. It's not. If you actually watch it, it's not a lot of CGI. There's a lot of practical shit, especially in that opening car chase that goes on for quite a while. That was a hell of a fucking way to start the movie. Um, and just the amount of shit that gets destroyed. I love movies like this that aren't afraid to just destroy sets and destroy a lot of stuff. Um, Especially when like gunfights end up like spraying a room. There's like bits of broken wood and paper and plates everywhere. I love that shit. Um, there's a lot of creativity in the action scenes. There's a bit like near the second half of the film where they're trying to like help the brother escape from a building that he's confined in. And the sniper character, Corey Hawkins, ends up shooting the pool and ending up drowning out a bunch of the like bad guys so that our people are able to escape. Very creative action scene, some really nice stunt work. Um, I don't know how much of any of this is CGI. I'm guessing the water is partially real, partial CGI. I'm not 100% sure. There's some really cool shit that happens in this movie. Especially regarding the parkour character. There's some really nice stunts he does. I would like to I'd like to bet that he at least has some type of experience with parkour because a lot of the stuff looked pretty good. Um, and again, I haven't talked about him much, but Ryan Reynolds, I don't hate him here. He's a fun character that's not constantly talking everybody's ear off and being annoying, and that being the joke. Oh, he's annoying, so it's funny. And yeah, this is just a fun movie. Oh yeah, the score by Lauren Balfe, pretty good overall. Um, the song choices are pretty cool. I like I like Run by AWOL Nation. There's a couple Muse songs, The Handler and Lay Down or Dig Down, excuse me. Um, both Muse songs that I haven't heard a lot of, even though Muse is my favorite band. Maybe that's kind of like playing to my heart because it's my favorite band. I know that all they had to do was just buy the rights to it. I get it, but it was still cool to see those songs in there. Um, Blah 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 by Armin van Buuren was nice to see. That was in the trailer. Um, and again, the pacing. This film's like 2 hours and 9 minutes, about 2 hours and 6 minutes without credits. Very well paced. Never felt long at all. The time just flew by. I know a lot of people say this is like mindless action and it has zero plot. It has a minuscule plot, but when you have action as well done as this film and as creative as this film many times, I mean, the plot doesn't have to be super complicated. I would rather it's a simple plot than something overly convoluted, but maybe that's just me. But no, really enjoyed my time with this. Again, biggest issues are sometimes the editing gets a bit out of hand. That happens. And the villain is kind of whatever. But I still really enjoyed the film. I know I might have repeated myself a lot, but yeah, hope other people want to see it. But yeah, that was my review of Six Underground. If you've seen the film, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. If you have any recommendations, put them down there as well. And movie reviewer next door.